Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's MISBO Snacks and Partner Facts. My name is Susan Kimmel. I'm the Director of the Purchasing Consortium here at MISBO. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to MISBO partner Kai's Education. They're going to be talking to us today about beyond coding, building thinkers, not just technologists. And they're also going to talk a little bit about the products that they offer our members here. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bruce and Ronell. We didn't talk about this before, but if you do have questions, please feel free to unmute. Go ahead and ask Bruce and Ronell, or you can put it in the chat. I'll be monitoring that for them as well. So thanks for being here today, everybody. Thanks, Bruce and Ronell, for jumping on.
Thank you so much, Susan.
Thanks for having us.
Right, so where do we start? So firstly, we sit in New Zealand. So we were a very, very long way away, and it is Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. So bright and early for us.
Living in the future.
That's right. So today what we're going to do, we're going to show you a little bit of KaiBot. But what we're really excited about is the fact that some of the districts is now starting to actually adopt the technology. And here's an example with Cynthia. She is in Utah. And Cynthia already had all the robots. She had the Spheros, the Legos, the Ozobots, everything. But she was really looking for a solution for the K5 that you could use in a STEM classroom. So it was very structured. She was following the science curriculum. And then they started with about 30 of their elementary schools, rolled KaiBot out. And then I asked and I said, Cynthia, what outcomes could you see? So this was about a year ago, so about 12 months ago. And she came back and she said the most important thing is she could see a change in math scores. So the Acadians' math scores actually increased between 10 to 24%. So here you can see on our slide the different grade levels. And what was really exciting is it quadrupled, like between 5 and 7% average.
And what's pretty cool is, obviously we do little coding robots, but this little robot actually changed where he lives or she lives, because normally the robot would live in a STEM class and moved into like maths and science. So quite interesting to see it come out of the STEM and into the, some of the sciences and mainstream and libraries as well.
So absolutely. So the cross curricular, I think, is really something that was exciting. And then Matt Smith in Durango in Colorado. So they did a very similar thing, but what Matt wanted to do is he needed to bring it into the math class. And he wanted to say, okay, well, can we actually make those changes? So he listened, he spoke to Cynthia, and he came back and she said, there was a big difference. And he said, okay, well, let's see if we can teach math. And that's actually one of the things that Bruce is going to show you, how you can use math. But we love this little 6-year-old little boy. He came up and he said, I'm not into math. This is really, I hate math. And then he started playing with KaiBot and he went like, well, how is robots math? And we're like, look, you can do 2 plus 2 and all of these things. And he goes, so robotics is math? I can do math. And it was just so cool to see this little change in somebody that hated math and all of a sudden he got it. So that was something that we sort of felt was really, really important. And we wanted to share that with you. So the first thing we're going to do is just show you the lesson portal that you can find, where you can find all these lessons. So let me just double check how I do that. Kai's Education, so just learn.kaiseducation.com, and this is where our portal is, and then you can choose KaiBot. And the beauty about KaiBot, it is screen free, but then you can scaffold it up all the way to actually grade 8. The sweet spot is K to 5. And you only use one robot. So, if it's really those basic things for kindergarten, it's just loading the screen that's a little bit longer. Then you can just use kindergarten, or you can actually go all the way and you can go onto your different. So we've got KaiBot. Conundrum is sort of the online platform, but we're going to look at KaiBot and hopefully it is going to load soon. We've also got here, just quickly, there's KaiLab, but that's really for middle school. So if anybody is interested, please reach out and we can talk to you about that. But for today, we're going to look at KaiBot.
So with KaiBot, you're not just doing, we talked about coding and math, but you can also do literacy. We have different board games. So it becomes a really fun activity to do a literacy board game in the classroom, breaking up kids into tables, and they're playing a board game, but while they're playing that board game, they're having fun, they're learning this skill, and then there's a sprinkle of coding on top of that. So they just, yes, it's makes a classroom activity quite fun with lots of good learning outcomes.
And here you'll see some of the lessons. And I think one of the really fun things is that a lot of teachers, they create their own lessons as well, and then they share that with us. And this lesson was actually done with Rachel Lemansky. And she is a librarian. So she has gone in and she used KaiBot, and I'm just going to load her little lesson. And she did the cycle of a butterfly.
That looks like the cycle of a scorpion.
Wow, and we'll get there. We'll get there. So you can open the document in a Google Drive, and then here we do all the lessons. So it will tell you how long this lesson is going to take. We sort of looked at science and coding. So we really want to talk about coding as much more computational thinking because it's about that critical thinking. She's got some material. So there's like index cards that you can then actually print out. She had the little life cycle here. So here she talks about, just how it is. It's your caterpillar, your chrysalis, a butterfly, or it actually starts at the egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, and butterfly. So really, really cool. Talks about the algorithms. And this was just in Massachusetts. So she actually added the standard, and all our standards from all the states are there. But, obviously you can create your own standards. And then the lesson. And then she just laid out her tiles, very simple for those little kindergartens. And they learned how to go from number 1 to number 2 to 3 to 4. So a very, very basic plan. And again, sorry, just go back here. So you'll see many lessons different. So there's a real progression that you can do for us. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at math in action.
So also, just before we move on, what you'll notice is we've got this slider on the lesson portal here, and it goes from grades K all the way through to grades 8. So KaiBot can be used for very simple, movement tasks similar to like a Bbot, and then we can progress that on and add on learning to that.
And one of our latest programs as well is, just going to put in math in action for the moment. We have actually, that's okay, yeah. We've actually just also created a program, or it's a little interactive board game, and it's called Dragon of Disengagement. And what it is the Castle framework. So we looked at that social emotional skills. And it's a competitive or a collaborative, and the students really have to answer these questions. Like if you on a computer screen and something pops up, should you click on it? If you studying for a math test and you feel really, really anxious, is that okay? So it becomes, you have to sort of slay the dragon. So a really, really fun product that you can sort of play with, and that's a grade 4 to 6. But for today, what we're going to do here is math in action. And I really wanted to show you, this was actually showing how computational thinking makes math click. And I think that's a really important thing. So you don't need to know computer science as a teacher. In the math class, the math teacher can do this. So lots of different lessons. I can see Bruce has got, let me just actually, oops. Right on, Bruce. Let me just go back, sorry. Go back to math in action. There we go. Okay, so I just want to go. So here is a lesson for, why is it loading? This is a lesson for all the different standards. So here that you can see here, we look at the know, the understand, and the do. And what we're going to do here is numbers. So again, we say you have a start tile and then you add your tiles. And Bruce is going to do a sample here for us. So we reinforce, it's all about reinforcing, really learning the numbers for kindergarten. And then it goes all the way to really complex. And I'm sure Bruce is going to show one of those complex ones for grade 5 that you can use as well. But all the lesson plans is on the portal. And if you get stuck, you can ask us any questions. And then there's a couple of assessment points that you can do as well. Right, Bruce, I think it's much more exciting. That was 10 minutes. You said I've got 10 minutes and then we want to play. This is what we do. We love what we're doing here. Okay, so shall we cross over?
Stop sharing. Here we go. And if you cross
You
over.
ready? You want to go to this one?
Okay, so let's just do that one. So first of all, let's introduce you to KaiBot. So KaiBot's this cute, itty-bitty little robot. It's got a little switch on the back there. I'm going to turn on. This guy's got populated with a lot of stickers. And it's got a screen on the back, although we do non-screen coding. You can stick Lego on there. You can do lots of things with it. So he's a little square robot. Doesn't look like much, but he's a little powerhouse. We've got our math and action book there. We're going to put that to the side. And then what you get with KaiBot as well is these magnetic tiles. And you can see I've got them numbered and they just snap together. So very easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a straight line and keep things simple. And we're just going to go from 53 to 56. So if you've never coded before, then this is a great tool to use. We've got a whole bunch of over 100 different coding cards. And we're just going to do a simple task and say, okay, if I have my KaiBot on tile 53 here and I drive it all the way to 56, how many tiles am I going to move forward? Well, the student would go, okay, well, that's obvious. I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. But hold on, I'm starting on this tile, so let me plan it out. I'm going to move forward 1, 2, 3. So we start constructing our program. Let's move this up a bit. We have these coding cards. And on each card, we have some kind of identifiers. The bracket, so we can open a bracket and we can close a bracket. So we've got a matching pair. So this is the start program and the end program. And then we're going to add a run program. What you'll also notice, if you can see it on the screen, some of the cards we also have in Braille for blind users. So the product is fully accessible for all kids.
Whoop.
Okay, so now I need to move forward. So I'm going to get a forwards card. Now I can do this two ways. I can either add 3 forwards or I can add the number 3. So when you see a orange green asterisk, you can add a number next to that. So that reads out, if you read left to right, forward 3. So we can do that, or we can use 3 forwards. Take that down a bit. Okay, so we're ready to go. So all you do is you grab KaiBot and you just tap the robot. And I'll just grab a card so you can see what's happening. So we just tap the robot and it shows you the forward card on there. Tap the end program and let's tap the run program, see what happens. Get a little countdown. Place the KaiBot down. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Wow. I mean, that's really, really simple.
That's very simple.
And I think what's really exciting is like these tiles come from 1 to 60. So we can really do those number counting. But I find it really interesting, Bruce, you sort of started on 3. So 53 plus 3, that's going to get you to 56. And that's where math comes in.
Yeah. So then you could say, okay, well, what if we went backwards? from 56, what number would I end up on if I went backwards 2?
Okay.
Right? So you would say, well, I'm going to end up on 54. So a lot of like discussions in the classroom, really problem solving happening. We've got a problem. That's happening in the world at the moment, and that problem is AI. Now, it's also a benefit, right? AI is going to be a huge benefit. We can type in a thing within 10 seconds, we get an answer. But the problem we have is kids are going to be losing out the problem solving opportunities they have to try and work out, like, oh, what happens with this, what happens with this. At the moment we just can type in, get an instant answer, and we don't have to think about it. We don't have to, like, our brains don't have to problem solve. So I think there's a big a big change happening. And
it's like that 10-second economy. I think that's what we're talking about. It's like instant. Information is becoming so frictionless. It's sort of instant there, and we lose the critical thinking, and that problem solving is what you're talking about. But coming back to these coding cards and things, what about, I know we've got cards like, the operators, greater than, lesser than. How would you use that? Like if it's, can you do a
Okay, well, before we go and do those cards, let's do a repeat sequence. Okay, so for this little challenge here, we've got to get the KaiBot to move all the way around. So okay, what is it? Forwards, left. Okay, so if we go forwards, left, forwards, left, forwards, left, we could do that. So we can use a forwards and a left card. So Renelle, how many times do I need to move forward, left to get back to my starting point?
Well, it's a square, so you're going to do it 4 times.
Correct. Okay, so we could repeat that forward, left, forward, left, forward, left, but that seems quite wasteful. We're going to be using a lot of cards to achieve a repeating sequence. What if we use let's have a look here. Let's see if I can find my little friends. My friends are Mr. and Mrs. Loop. So loop start, loop end. Once again, look at the brackets, right? Open the door, you close the door. We've got our start programs down here. You open the door, you close the door. So we're starting to get that kind of thinking happening with the students. So I'm going to place my loop end, loop start, loop end.
Sort of feels like algebra. Where you have all the brackets that you're starting to add. And I think it's really good because that was always my thing. I always forgot to close the door. So I really like this open door, closed door.
Okay, so let's just program this. The robot has reported a bug alert. Let me move this little character. If we can focus the camera, bug alert, missing number card. So what have I left off? Oh, how many times did you say I needed to move?
4 times.
4 times. Okay, that green asterisk is looking at me funny. So I'm going to put a loop 4, and then we're going to move forward right, and that's looping 4 times. So it's going to repeat this 1, 2, 3, 4. End the program, run the program. So didn't you love the part where the robot is telling the student where they've made a mistake, where they've made a bug?
But it doesn't give you the answer. It sort of said there's a missing number. So this is where that problem solving is coming in. Like, well, where did I miss the number? Oh, and there he goes with Mr. Lego Man. So what we actually find is, like, very quickly that students actually understand what's a repeat, what's a pattern, what's a sequence. And that is what the math teacher is teaching the math class. When they then go over, well done, Mr. Lego. When they then go over into the computer science class, it's the same language. So we really, really make it super, super simple to do that. Okay, what's the next challenge? So that's probably about grade 2 that we've just done. A loop, I think we start introducing loops and things like that, or a repeat in grade 2 or 3. what are we going to do now? Same robot, same tiles.
Same robots, same tiles, but I'm going to add a bunch more tiles. So if you can do that overhead shot for me. Okay, so you can see now I've got all these tiles. And this time, what we're going to do is some kind of like math problems here. So I'm going to start on tile 52, and they're all in sequence. So let me give you some problems to the viewers to solve, little challenges. I love challenges. Okay, so let's just make this a little bit simpler. Okay, so if I'm going to repeat, so just go to the right close-ups camera so we can see the coding cards. So here we're going to repeat twice, move forward 3 times, and what tile number would we end on? Okay, so you might need an overview camera again. One more tile here.
Okay, so we're going to repeat something twice and move forward 3 times. So that's going to be 2 times 3. That's 6. I'm going to move forward 6
Well,
tiles.
how did you figure out it's 2 times 3?
Well, I'm smart.
You cheated. You're using prior knowledge to figure out the answer.
But I could have gone 3 and 3 again. So that would have been 52. I'm going to go forward 3. That's 53, 54, 55. And then I'm going to do it again, which is going to be 56, 57, 58.
So let's count it out. Okay. So you got loop 2 and you got forward 3. Well, the first thing we're going to do is let's move forward 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we got another loop 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to end on 58. And we're going to do that twice. So using the times table here, we can actually try and then solve what that would be. Okay, Ronelle, where would we go if I said do that, and then outside the loop we're going to go backwards 4. So what number would you do there?
Oh no. Okay. Right. So we're still going to land on 58. So now if I then have to go 58, it's going to go 57, 56, 55, 54. So 58 minus 4 should be 54 in my math.
Okay, so forward 1, 2, 3, forward 1, 2, 3, back forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 54. You were right. Well done.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to actually, don't kick the camera. Do you want to actually program that and we show them what that looks like? Let me go on the overview card.
Okay, let me just take little mini off. Okay. Oh, bug alert. What happened? Unexpected number card. Oh, look here.
It's not 4 backwards.
It's not number 4 backwards. It's backwards 4.
Oh, I love this problem solving. So the robot gives them a hint, but it also allows students to go and really do and figure it out themselves. So they don't, you don't need 30 little students putting up their hands and say, it's not working. The robots say, you know, unexpected card. So now they can go and have a look and, oh, remember that asterisk? The asterisk comes before you put the number card down.
So every forward or backwards card moves an entire tile. Now you can use your regular like magnet cards, magnet tiles with these tiles to build up walls, and you can make large mazes. And there's also a whole range of mobile apps that you can add on as well.
And I think this is the exciting thing. Oh, awesome. We got to 54. So With this is totally screen free, and I think we see more and more of that in schools, especially in elementary school. I mean, I don't know if anybody read the study in Sweden, where they actually are now spending $1 billion to bring textbooks back into the classroom. And I think it is that whole screen thing. Um, but you're never going to get away from it. So if you've got a product that can actually do screen free, then you can go and pair it with Conundrum. And now you can actually have 3D mazes and puzzles that you can then go and do on the screen as well.
And it also converts those coding cards into text-based Python code. So kids are actually, by using the cards, they're getting a natural progression into text-based coding, which is what you'd get a career, you get a job in. Giving them life skills that they're going to use for the future, giving them that problem solving, understanding is really great. Let's see. Are there any questions in the chat or anyway?
Um, I wanted to add one more. On the card, you probably saw there's also Spanish. So we've got Spanish, and then when you pair your robot, it can also speak back in Spanish and French and Italian. So if there's any ESA classes or there's any foreign students, how cool would that be for them to actually, do the math and the computational thinking in the different languages? So Susan, any questions?
I don't have any questions. Of course, I've seen these demos, and every time I see it, I see something new and great. I love how hands-on it is and how it does incorporate so much more than just robotics into the classroom. And I love how it starts them young, right? This is for the younger students to start working in that logical way. So I don't have any questions, but Kai's Education is a MISBO consortium partner. So you do get a great discount if you want to learn more. Contact Ronell. Do you have? I can include your email to the registrants as well. But anything for our members if they're interested in learning more, talking to you directly about how they can use this in their schools.
Absolutely. Yeah, they can just email us. Jeanette, I saw you posted a question. Do you have the kit for middle schools? So that's a really, really good question. So with KaiBot, you can go all the way to K to 8, to grade 8 as well. But what we actually then do is more the online. So now they can go and design those escape rooms. They can go and design the mazes and the puzzles. And what we've seen, and I think it was Eden Prairie District, the older kids were designing a maze, and then the young ones went to test it. So yes, absolutely, you can use KaiBot in the middle school. Now, what we are doing as well, and this is the offer that we want to put in, is we've got a Kai starter program. So if you go onto Kai's Education, you'll see there's a pilot program. You can just apply for that. You can have the robots as a classroom pack that you get. You can play with them for about 2 months. And then if you like them, you get a further discount that you can then purchase them. And then when you're on the website, go and also have a look. Jeanette, have a look at the KaiLab product because that's really middle and high schools as well. So you have that progression where you then bring AR and VR and IoT. But happy to jump on another call to share more with you.
Okay, thank you. I have a teacher here. That's why she was middle school, so we were just wondering.
Great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we can you've got my email there. We can jump on. And I think with KaiLab, which is the older robot, what is really cool, I can set it up here in the studio in New Zealand. You can be the student and you can code it. You can drive that robot all across the ocean and it will move on my computer. So it's all about collaboration. So that is really the CTE. We prepare students for the CTE career paths using KaiLab, but it's only those two products and we go all the way from K to 10.
And is it also screen free as well for middle school?
KaiLab is not screen free. That you definitely need a screen, but KaiBot, which is this the little one, you can do screen free all the way with that one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We'll check it out.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks, Bruce and Ronell, for getting up really early to serve our schools and to show them this wonderful product. So we appreciate everybody on today, whether you're live or watching the replay. And thanks, Bruce and Ronell, for being here today.
Yes,
We
thank you.
appreciate you all.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.